Hello students, welcome to my channel Hans Commerce Tutorial for the lectures on commerce, accounts, finance and management. My suggestion to you, before watching the video, please go to the description below my video. You'll find a link there. Take a printout of the problems given in the link and keep it ready before watching the video so that you can be able to understand the problem, the solution and the explanation to get the maximum benefit from the lectures. Thank you. Hello students, welcome you all back to our classes of corporate accounting, liquidation of companies. So last two sessions we have completed the theory of liquidation of companies and the statements to be prepared at the time of liquidation of companies, that is statement of affairs and liquidator's final statement of account. So the detail we have already discussed in theory. Then in the next video we have solved so many short problems on liquidation of companies. The problems were mostly regarding the calculation of liquidator's remuneration. Now from this video onwards we are going to start the main problems. The first 8 problems we are going to solve on preparing the statement of affairs. After completing the statement of affairs, we'll go to the next topic, liquidator's final statement of account. So first of all, we'll begin with the statement of affairs. Briefly, we'll recap our knowledge on what is statement of affairs. The statement of affairs will be prepared by the company, by the directors, secretary or chief officer of the company. And it should be made and presented to the liquidator within 21 days from the date of winding up of the order. So this statement of affairs should list down what are the assets which are not specifically pledged, what are the assets which are specifically pledged with the creditors, and what are the liabilities due to fully secured creditors, partly secured creditors, preferential creditors, debentures having a floating charge on all the assets, unsecured creditors, and how much amount is due to preference shareholders, equity shareholders. All the details of this should be written, should be recorded in the statement of affairs. The starting problem we are going to do on preparing the statement of affairs. Come on, let's begin. I hope everybody have the problems from the link which I have given. So we'll start the first problem. See the first main problem. M Company Limited went into voluntary liquidation on 1st March 2001. The following balances are extracted from its books. The liabilities: capital 50,000, equity share of 10 is 5 lakh. Debentures secured by a floating charge. Remember the lists to be written in statement of affairs. List A, assets not specifically pledged. List B, assets which are specifically pledged. List C, preferential creditors. List D, debentures having a floating charge on the assets. List E, unsecured creditors. List F, paid up preference share capital. List G, paid up equity share capital. List H, deficiency or surplus as regards contributories. So these are the lists which are to be written in the statement of affairs. The debentures secured by a floating charge, this will come under list D. Bank overdraft and creditors, these two will take under list E, unsecured. Then buildings, plant and machinery, stock in trade, book debts less provision, calls in arrear, cash in hand, P&L account. The profit and loss account is given on the asset side. It's an accumulated loss. It's a fictitious asset which should not be considered. Plant and machinery and building are valued at 1,50,000 and 1,20,000. These are the realizable value of assets. So we should not take the book value, we should take the realizable value. On realization, losses of 15,000 are expected in stock. So we deduct 15,000 from the book value of stock to get realizable value. Book debts will realize 70,000. Okay, stock 15,000, there is a loss, and book debtors will realize 70,000. Calls in arrear are expected to realize 90%. The calls in arrear are given on the asset side 1 lakh. So 90% of 1,90,000 are expected to realize. Bank overdraft is secured against building. The building is pledged. When building is pledged, building will be taken under list B, whereas all other assets will be taken under list A. सिर्फ बिल्डिंग को छोड़कर बाकी के सारे एसेट्स नॉट प्लेज्ड है, लिस्ट ए में डालेंगे। बिल्डिंग प्लेज्ड है तो लिस्ट बी में डालेंगे। काय के लिए प्लेज्ड है? बैंक ओवरड्राफ्ट, तो बैंक ओवरड्राफ्ट शुड नॉट बी टेकन अंडर अनसेक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर्स, इट्स अ फुल्ली secured creditor. Because the building value, the present value of the building is 1,20,000. Realizable value of the building is 1,20,000. Whereas how much is the bank overdraft? 30,000. The company has to pay to bank only 30,000 and the security given is 1,20,000. Fully secured creditors. The liquidator will get the surplus from bank. Preferential creditors and for taxes and wages are 6,000 and miscellaneous outstanding 2,000 are included in creditors. So how much are the creditors here? 40,000. In that 40,000, 6,000 are preferential. So we segregate. Out of 40,000, we remove 6,000 because 6,000 should be kept as preferential. List C. Preferential creditor, list C. Whereas the remaining 40 minus 6, 34. 34,000 will be taken under list E, unsecured. And apart from that, miscellaneous outstanding expense doesn't matter because miscellaneous outstanding expense is also one of the unsecured creditor. Prepare the statement of affairs to be submitted to the meeting of creditors. This is the first problem on making statement of affairs. See carefully the solution, how the statement of affairs will be presented. M Company Limited, statement of affairs as on 31st March 2001. Particulars estimated to realize. One column we require at the extreme right hand side, estimated to realize. Assets not specifically pledged as per list A. So first list A we should take all the assets which are not specifically pledged. Now you can see the asset side. Except building, all other assets are not pledged. So all other assets except building we are going to take. Cash in hand, book value 10,000. Book debts is given 70,000, realizable value. Forget about the balance sheet value because paragraph it is given realizable value of book debt is 70,000. We'll take 70,000. Unpaid calls, calls in arrear. Unpaid calls means calls in arrear. It is given 1 lakh rupees on the asset side, but in adjustment it is given 90% is realizable. So 90% of 1 lakh is 90,000. Stock, the book value of stock is given as 95,000, but in the adjustment it is given that 15,000 are not realizable. So 95 minus 15, 80,000 is realizable. Plant and machinery realizable value is 1,50,000. That's we have taken all the assets not specifically pledged, 4 lakh. Now assets specifically pledged as per list B. Only one asset is pledged, that is building. Here we have to write the detail regarding those assets. We have to give the details. What are the detail? Which asset was given, which asset was pledged, and realizable value of that asset pledged. Due to creditors, how much amount is due to the creditors on this pledge, and surplus or deficiency. If the realizable value is more than amount due to creditors, there is a surplus. If the amount, if the realizable value of asset is more than the amount due to creditor, it will be, there will be asset, there will be surplus. If the realizable value of the asset is less and the amount due to creditor is more, there is a deficiency. तो अगर realizable value का realizable value of asset ज्यादा अगर है तो surplus मिलेगा. अगर realizable value of asset कम है, amount due to creditors, then there will be deficiency. Now building, only one asset was pledged, building. Estimated realizable value of the building is 1,20,000 given in the adjustment. Whereas amount due to creditors, who are the creditors? Bank overdraft. So bank overdraft is given 30,000. The company has to pay 30,000 and the company has given a security of 1,20,000. It is called fully secured creditor. Fully secured creditor. Now we'll get the surplus. Bank क्या करेगा? Building बेचेगा, 1,20,000 आएंगे, वो 1,20,000 में से अपने 30,000 रख लेगा और बाकी के 90,000 लिक्विडेटर के हवाले कर देगा, दे देगा. Surplus 90,000. Now estimated. Now 90,000 should be taken in the column. 90,000 should be taken in the column. Estimated surplus from assets specifically pledged. जो asset specifically pledged करे वहां से surplus आ रहा. How much surplus we are getting? 90,000. तो 4 lakh plus 90,000, 4,90,000. These are the estimated total assets available for paying to preferential creditors, debenture holders and unsecured creditors. ये सारे पार्टीज को देने के लिए जो फंड अवेलेबल है वो फंड 4,90,000 है. Again I repeat, this is the first problem. In the coming problem, same procedure we have to follow. This is the procedure given by the Companies Act. We cannot change the format. So assets not specifically pledged, list A. Then assets specifically pledged, list B. In this list B, we have to specify which asset was given, how much is the estimated realizable value, how much is the amount due to creditors, and is there surplus arising or deficiency. If realizable value is more, then there is a surplus. If realizable value is less than amount due to creditors, there will be deficiency. So here 1,20,000 is realizable value, amount due to creditor is only 30,000. So there will be surplus of 90,000. The estimated surplus from fully secured creditor 90,000. Take the total 4 lakh plus 90,000, 4,90,000. These are the total assets available in the hands of liquidator for making the payment to preferential creditor, debenture holder and unsecured creditor. Yes, sorry wording, all these wording you must write. You cannot write in your own words. These are the words, this is the format given by the Companies Act. Now we'll continue. From here onwards we have to continue. There is no space, that's why I have taken separately, but you have to continue from there. The summary of gross assets. What is the total gross assets we want to find out? These are the assets, other assets. ये assets में एक asset छोटा हुआ है. कौन सा asset है? Building है. Building को छोड़कर all other assets we have taken here. And the building. What is the gross realizable value of building? 1,20,000. The gross realizable value of assets specifically pledged is 1,20,000. जो asset specifically pledge कर दिए उसका gross realizable value 1,20,000. And other assets, इसको छोड़कर, building को छोड़कर other assets का gross realizable value 4 lakh. This is the estimated realizable value. So 4 lakh rupees other assets, 1,20,000 rupees is the building asset specifically pledged. So total gross assets is 5,20,000. Don't take in the column. It is only for our confirmation purpose, verification purpose. Verification के लिए हमको ये gross assets को मालूम करना है, column में नहीं लेना. Now gross liabilities to be deducted from gross surplus or added to deficiency. These are the wordings you must write. Now we are going to start the gross liabilities to be deducted from surplus. जो भी surplus amount है इसमें से minus करेंगे. अब ये surplus amount है 4,90,000 रुपीस कैश है. अब इसमें से liabilities को क्या करेंगे? माइनस करते जाएंगे. या अगर deficiency आ गया तो deficiency में add करेंगे. Add to deficiency or subtract from surplus. So gross liability to be deducted from surplus or added to deficiency. GL stands for gross liability. We are going to show the gross liability on left hand side and take the amount in the right column. So first what we should take gross liability, secured creditors as per list B. To the extent to which claims are estimated to be covered by assets specifically pledged. यानी ऐसे fully secured creditor जो अपना पैसा security से निकाल लिए. तो who are the list B creditors? Bank overdraft. List B creditors जो है bank overdraft है 30,000. 30,000 है. But this 30,000 need not be paid. 30,000 need not be paid because they have realized from their security. Banker has realized the 30,000 rupees from the security. What is the security? Building. Building को बेचकर अपना पैसा ले लिया तो अब पैसे देने की जरूरत नहीं है. So we should write this wording and don't take the amount in the outer column. Right hand side पे amount नहीं लेना. Never. For fully secured creditor. Take the amount on the left hand side. Left hand side पर gross liabilities है यहाँ पर 30,000 लेंगे. ये 30,000. Amount due to creditors, fully secured creditors, 30,000. Now preferential. अब पहले जो पेमेंट करेंगे वो preferential creditors. Who are preferential creditors? In the theory video, I have completely explained you. The law has given some unsecured creditors as preferential creditors. They should be paid before any payment is made to unsecured creditor. The preferential creditors as per list C. It is given in the problem last sentence. 6,000 rupees are there which are preferential. So 6,000 should be taken in gross liability column and also 6,000 should be taken in the right hand column by deduction. We have to deduct. तो हाउ मच इज द टोटल ऑन एसेट्स अवेलेबल? 4,90,000। 4,90,000 में से पहला पेमेंट जो करेंगे 6,000 रुपीज का पेमेंट करेंगे। किसको करेंगे? प्रेफरेंशियल क्रेडिटर्स। तो सब्ट्रैक्ट 6,000, 4,90,000 minus 6,000, 4,84,000. This is the estimated balance of assets available for debenture holders and unsecured creditor. तीन पार्टीज लिखे थे, preferential creditors, debenture holders, unsecured creditor. So first of all, we have made the payment to preferential creditors. Now these are the assets remaining available for making the payment for debenture holders and unsecured creditor. So first we'll make the payment to debenture holders secured by a floating charge on assets as per list D. Wordings you should not change. The same wordings you have to write in the statement of it. So debenture holders secured by a floating charge on all the assets as per list D, that is given in the problem as 2 lakh. 2 lakh रुपए debenture holders को देना है. This 2 lakh rupees should be taken on both the columns, left hand as well as right hand. And a gross liability में 2 lakh rupees ले लिए और ये 2 lakh rupees right side में माइनस करेंगे. 4,84,000 minus 2 lakh. 2,84,000 rupees are remaining. Now this 2,84,000 carried down, brought down. Unsecured creditors as per list E. अब लास्ट में जो पेमेंट करना है आउटसाइड पार्टी को, that is unsecured creditors. Actually, sundry creditors are given in the balance sheet, 40,000. And adjustment, it has said that out of 40,000, 6,000 are preferential. So we have deducted 40,000 minus 6,000, 34,000 rupees are the unsecured creditors as per list E. So list E, 34,000. And one more thing is given in the last line of the problem, that miscellaneous outstanding expenditure also 2,000 included in unsecured creditor. Doesn't matter. All miscellaneous outstanding expenses will come under unsecured creditor only. They are unsecured, need not be set. खाली क्या करना है, 40,000 में से 6,000 क्योंकि प्रेफरेंशियल है उसको अलग करना है. बाकी क्या, चाहे आउटस्टैंडिंग एक्सपेंसेस हो, बिल्स पेएबल हो, सन्ड्री क्रेडिटर्स हो, कुछ भी हो, ऑल दीज आर अनसिक्योर्ड. तो 40,000 में से ओनली 6,000 रुपीज निकाल के अलग कर दिए. बाकी क्या 34,000 completely unsecured. 34,000 should be taken in the gross liability and 34,000 should be taken in the right hand side. So 2,84,000 minus 34,000 will get 2,50,000. This 2,50,000 you are getting positive. Payment जो करे 2,84,000 was the fund available. Out of 2,84,000, 34,000 rupees are paid to outside liabilities. The company is solvent. The company can be able to pay fully to unsecured creditor. Unsecured creditor को पूरा पे कर सकते, तो कंपनी सॉल्वेंट है. तो एक्सेस मनी जो आ रहा है वो सरप्लस. एक्सेस मनी इज कॉल्ड सरप्लस एज रिगार्ड्स क्रेडिटर्स. सरप्लस एज रिगार्ड्स क्रेडिटर्स, यानी क्रेडिटर्स को पे करने के बाद सरप्लस बचा. तो सरप्लस, एस्टिमेटेड सरप्लस एज रिगार्ड्स क्रेडिटर्स 2,50,000. Now we want to confirm whether our calculations are correct or not. To confirm this surplus should be the difference between gross assets and gross liability. This surplus should be the difference between gross assets and gross liability. Being the difference between gross assets and gross liability. Confirm कर लेंगे we have done correctly or not. How much are the gross assets here? 5,20,000. How much is the gross liabilities? See here, 30,000 plus 6,000 plus 2 lakh plus 34,000. You'll get 2,70,000. So 2,70,000 gross liability, gross assets 5,20,000. So 5,20,000 minus 2,70,000. So gross assets minus gross liability, you must get estimated surplus. अगर ये डिफरेंस मालूम करे और वो एस्टिमेटेड सरप्लस दोनों बराबर है, तो that means our calculations are exactly correct. So we are right now. 5,20,000 minus 2,70,000, you'll get 2,50,000. And this 2,50,000 is the surplus as regards creditors. ये हो गया. अब issued and paid up capital, last one. Issued and paid up capital में first preferential capital as per list F, but we don't have preferential capital, put a dash. Equity share capital 50,000, equity share of 10 each, 5 lakh. 5 lakh rupees is the equity share capital according to list G. तो यहाँ पर 5 lakh rupees है. So take the total 0. Here it is nil, 5 lakh. So 5 lakh rupees take it in the outer column. So 2,50,000 was the surplus and amount due to equity shareholders is 5 lakh. Can the company pay 5 lakh rupees? No. The company is having only 2,50,000. लिक्विडेटर के पास ओनली 2,50,000 है और शेयर होल्डर्स को पे करना है 5 लाख, नहीं पे कर सकते तो डेफिशिएंसी. हाउ मच इज द डेफिशिएंसी? 2,50,000 माइनस 5 लाख इज माइनस 2,50,000. Minus 2,50,000. So I'll put it this in bracket so that it will be more clear. Minus 2,50,000 is the estimated deficiency as regards contributories. The shareholders are called contributories at the time of winding up of the company. Company wind up होने के टाइम पे shareholders को contributories कहते हैं. तो estimated deficiency as regards contributories as per list H. List H जब बनाएंगे तो आपको आएगा 2,50,000. That's all. This is the complete problem on statement of affairs. First problem we have completed. Briefly we'll recap so that in the coming problem you don't find any difficulty. First we take assets not specifically pledged. Not specifically pledged as per list A. List A में वो assets लेंगे जो pledge नहीं रखा है. पूरे assets का realizable value लेंगे. List B, those assets which are specifically pledged. For this we have to show a complete detail. Which was the asset, how much is the realizable value, how much are the creditors, amount due to creditors, surplus or deficiency. We have to show it here. Now we'll get either surplus or deficiency. Fully secured creditor अगर है तो surplus मिलेगा, partly secured creditor रहा तो deficiency होगा. We'll get the surplus from fully secured creditor. तो add up 4 lakh plus 90,000. 4,90,000 is the total assets available for making the payment to preferential creditors, debenture holders, unsecured creditors. सबको पे करने के लिए इतना है. Now summary of gross assets. ये confirmation करने के लिए gross value of assets specifically pledged. जो assets specifically pledged कर दिए उसका gross realizable value 1,20,000. Other assets का realizable value 4 lakh. तो total gross assets 5,20,000. Now gross liabilities to be deducted from surplus or added to deficiency. Gross liability को हम लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पर बताएंगे और एस्टिमेटेड टू रैंक जो पेमेंट करना है उसको लायबिलिटी से. अब ये फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल सिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर, हमारे पास फुल्ली सिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर बैंक ओवरड्राफ्ट, ये लोगों को कुछ पेमेंट करना है क्या? नहीं करना है तो खाली ग्रॉस लायबिलिटी बताना. वी शुड नॉट टेक इन एस्टिमेटेड टू रैंक. Secured creditor as per list B to the extent to which claims are estimated to be covered by assets specifically pledged. ये लोग के claims covered हो गए. काय में covered हो गए? Pledge of the security. So 30,000 rupees is the amount due to creditor. That 30,000 should be taken in gross liability. Don't take in estimated to rank. Now 6,000 rupees are preferential creditors. One by one we have to take. Preferential creditors 6,000, both the columns. Left hand side gross liability, right hand side estimated to rank. माइनस कर दो 4,90,000 में से 6,000 पे कर दिया 4,84,000. दिस इज द एस्टिमेटेड बैलेंस अवेलेबल फॉर डिबेंचर होल्डर्स एंड अनसिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर. ये दोनों को पे करने के लिए 4,84,000. नाउ डिबेंचर्स हैविंग ए फ्लोटिंग चार्ज एज पर लिस्ट डी. 2 लाख रुपए डिबेंचर्स को पे करना है, बोथ द साइड्स. ग्रॉस लायबिलिटी एंड एस्टिमेटेड टू रैंक. माइनस कर दो 484 माइनस 2 लाख 2,84,000. फ्रॉम 2,84,000 सब्ट्रैक्ट द अनसिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर एज पर लिस्ट ई. तो लिस्ट ई के 34,000 रुपीज माइनस कर लो. माइनस करने के बाद 2,70,000 इज द टोटल ऑफ ग्रॉस लायबिलिटी. टोटल ऑफ ग्रॉस लायबिलिटी 2,70,000 और यहां पर 284 में से 34 निकाल दो 2,50,000. दिस 2,50,000 इज द सरप्लस एज रिगार्ड्स क्रेडिटर्स. क्रेडिटर्स को पे करने के बाद और पैसे बचे, सरप्लस है. एंड दिस इज बीइंग द डिफरेंस बिटवीन ग्रॉस एसेट्स एंड ग्रॉस लायबिलिटी. कंफर्म करना है 2,50,000 हमारा आंसर करेक्ट है या नहीं है, ये मालूम करने के लिए टेक द डिफरेंस. ग्रॉस एसेट्स 5,20,000 माइनस ग्रॉस लायबिलिटी 2,70,000. यू मस्ट गेट 2,50,000. Then issued and subscribed capital, preferred share capital, we don't have equity share capital 5 lakh. So 2,50,000 is the surplus minus 5 lakh rupees is the capital. So we are getting a deficiency of 2,50,000 as regards contributories as per list H. That's all. This is the end of problem number 1. Hope the concept is very clear to you. Come on, now we'll start problem number 2. Already in the first problem we have seen how to make the statement of affairs. Now second problem, see carefully. X company limited is to be liquidated. The summarized balance sheet as of 30th September 2010 appear as under. 2,50,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each, 25 lakhs. Secured debentures on land and building 10 lakh. So we have to see whether it is fully secured or partly secured. Then unsecured loans, trade creditors. These two we will take under list E, unsecured creditors. Then land and building, other fixed assets, current assets, profit and loss account. Land and building already we have given as security. It's a pledged asset. Contingent liabilities are for bills discounted 1 lakh, for excise duty demand 1,50,000. Actually, contingent liability means conditional liability, not an actual liability. But when it is given that on investigation it is found that contingent liabilities are certain to devolve and that assets are likely to be realized as follows. Actually, contingent liability should not be considered, but it is estimated, it is expected that contingent liability are actually going to devolve or actually going to happen. Then that contingent liability will be treated as actual liability and should be considered. तो जब तक कि वो कंटिंजेंट लायबिलिटी है तब तक लायबिलिटी ट्रीट नहीं करना. अगर ये प्रॉब्लम में दे दिया कि कंटिंजेंट लायबिलिटी एक्चुअल लायबिलिटी हो जाएगी, द कंपनी हैज टू पे, देन वी मस्ट टेक इट टू अकाउंट. तो दिस लायबिलिटी फॉर बिल्स डिस्काउंटेड 1 lakh rupees, this should be taken under list E, unsecured creditors. And for excise duty demand, this will be taken under preferential creditors. Then what are the assets realizable value? Land and building 11 lakh. Land and building actually we have pledged. So what is the security? Land and building realizable value 11 lakh and secured debentures are 10 lakh. So we have given this land and building to the debenture holders. So amount due to debenture holders 10 lakh, whereas security provided is 11 lakh. So 1 lakh rupees surplus we are going to get. Other fixed assets 18 lakh realizable value and current assets 35 lakh. Prepare statement of affairs. It's very simple. Already in the previous class, previous problem, we have seen how to make the statement of affairs. Now see here, X company limited statement of affairs as on 30th September. Particulars estimated to realize. Assets not specifically pledged as per list A. So it is given in the problem land and building, other fixed asset, current asset. Land and building, other fixed asset, current asset. Then P&L account is given, that is fictitious asset. Accumulated losses, that should be ignored. Now land and building we should not take because it is pledged. Other fixed assets, what is the realizable value of other fixed assets given in the last line? 18 lakh. The realizable value of current asset 35 lakh. So take the total 53 lakh. 53 lakh is list A. Now list B, assets which are specifically pledged. For this we have to give the information regarding which asset, how much realizable value, how much due to creditor, how much is the surplus or deficiency. So asset, we have given the asset land and building, LNB, land and building. Realizable value 11 lakh, land and building, due to creditors 10 lakh. ये land and building डिबेंचर होल्डर्स को दे दिया है, डिबेंचर होल्डर्स का अमाउंट ड्यू 10 लाख. तो surplus we are going to get 1 lakh. तो estimated surplus from fully secured creditor 1 lakh. So this 53 lakh plus 1 lakh is 54 lakh. 54 lakh is the estimated total assets available for preferential creditors, for debenture holders, for unsecured creditors. Summary of gross assets. This we need only for verification, confirmation. So gross realizable value of assets specifically pledged. जो asset specifically pledged हो गया उसका gross realizable value क्या है? Land and building का realizable value 11 lakh. And other assets का realizable value 53 lakhs. So total gross assets are 64 lakh. This we need only for confirmation whether we have done correctly or not. Now gross liabilities to be deducted from surplus or added to deficiency, estimated to rank. Secured creditors as per list B. To the extent to which claims are estimated to be covered by assets specifically pledged. Write this clear wording. Secured creditors means they will realize the amount from the security. Secured creditors अपनी security बेचकर अपना पैसे निकाल लेंगे. तो there is no need to pay. Example, debentures. For debentures we have given a security of 11 lakh. So they will sell the security for 11 lakh. They'll take back their 10 lakh rupees. So this secured creditors you should take it on the gross liability column. Don't take this secured creditor in the estimated to rank. Estimated to rank column में नहीं लेना, खाली gross liability column में लेना. कौन सा? Secured creditors. Then preferential creditors as per list C. In the problem, it is given excise duty demand. Any taxes, rates, or any amount due to government will be a preferential creditor. So tax due, excise duty due to the government is a preferential creditor. 1,50,000. Take it in gross liability column and estimate it to rank column. Now subtract 1,50,000 from these assets. 54 lakh minus 1,50,000, 52 lakh 50,000. Estimated balance available for debenture holders and unsecured creditors. Debenture holders having a floating charge on all assets as per list D, we don't have. In the problem, we have debentures fully secured, but debentures having a floating charge on all the assets, we don't have. That's why put a dash in both the columns. Take the same amount, 52 lakh 50,000. Now unsecured creditors. Unsecured creditors were trade creditors. Balance sheet, it is given on the liability side. Trade creditors 35 lakh, 35 lakh. Then for bills discounted, in adjustment it is given contingent liability, bills discounted likely to be paid. So 1 lakh rupees, 1 lakh rupees. An unsecured loan given in the balance sheet, 20 lakh, 20 lakh. These three amounts we have to deduct. These list E items we have to deduct. So 52 lakh 50,000 minus 35 lakh minus 1 lakh minus 20 lakh. So 3 lakh 50,000 will be remaining. Remaining amount is 3 lakh 50,000. Take the total of the gross liability. ये gross liability का पूरा total ले लीजिए, you will get 67 lakh 50,000. So you are getting 3 lakh 50,000 deficiency. 52 lakh 50,000 minus 35 lakh minus 1 lakh minus 20 lakh. You will get minus 3 lakh 50,000. This minus 3 lakh 50,000 is the estimated deficiency as regards creditors. Estimated deficiency as regards creditors. Creditors को पे करने के लिए पैसे नहीं है. 3 lakh 50,000 का shortage है, deficiency है. And this being the difference between the gross assets and gross liability. Difference between gross assets and gross liability. What is the gross assets? 64 lakh. How much is the gross liability? 67 lakh 50,000 if you add up all. So minus kar do 64 lakh minus 67 lakh 50,000, you will get minus 3 lakh 50,000. This is the estimated deficiency. Now we'll take the share capital, paid up share capital, preference and equity. Preference share capital we don't have. Equity share capital 2 lakh 50,000, equity shares of rupees 10 each, 25 lakh. Take the 25 lakh rupees in the outer column. So minus karna hai. So already minus hai. Minus 3 lakh 50,000 minus 25 lakh, you will get minus 28 lakh 50,000. This is deficiency and this 25 lakh rupees is also the deficiency. कंपनी को पहले 3,50,000 रुपए शॉर्टेज हो रहा क्रेडिटर के लिए और 25 लाख रुपए देने का है शेयर होल्डर्स को. तो टोटल डेफिशिएंसी एज रिगार्ड्स कंट्रीब्यूटरीज इज 28 lakh 50,000. This is the deficiency as regards contributory as per list H. That's it. This is the complete explanation of problem number